Hey guys, Firebat here, bringing you another Madness at the Darkmoon Faire card review. Hopefully you had a good weekend and you're ready to hear all about the new cards, because that's just what we're gonna do. First off, we have the Bladed Lady. This is a Demon Hunter card. It is a 6-mana 6/6 rush that costs 1 if your hero has 6 or more attack. So it's kind of like a Dread Corsair in the sense that it gets reduced if your attack is higher. It doesn't get it reduced in increments like Dread Corsair, so it's not gonna go down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just going to go straight to 1 once your attack gets 6 or more. So we're looking to synergize this with some of those big weapon buffs the Demon Hunter has. You know, Soul Shard Laprity is probably the most common one that sees a lot of play right now. This alongside any weapon equipped, and all of a sudden Blade Lady's coming down for 1, rushing into things, doing massive damage. Or, you know, maybe if you don't want to play the Soul Fragments in your deck, you bust out the Inner Demon. That's another solid weapon buff. Or maybe, you know, you just string it along with Twin Slices, whatever weapon buffs you have available, and you make your way to 6 somehow. I don't know, you do your thing. It seems pretty reasonable to be able to get this out for 1 quite consistently. And there's even the new Stilt Stepper card, which is one of the new cards we talked about a little bit earlier on. If you missed any of the other card reviews, be sure to check those out. We have them conveniently linked in playlists and all that sort of stuff, so you can get stuck in a playlist, fall asleep, and then watch my videos on repeat forever so I can make tons of money. I mean, because the content's convenient and easy to find for you. So it should be a pretty good card. I think it has just overwhelming synergy and should just be able to pop off without any issues. Next up, we have Fire Breather. This is a Warlock card. We're doing this interesting thing in Hearthstone now where we're giving Warlocks playable cards. We haven't done that for like 3 years. So this card's pretty cool. It deals 2 damage to all minions except demons. You can kind of get rid of the except demons thing because demons are generally trash. And just think of it as a Breath of the Infinite on a shtick. So it comes with a nice handle of stats on it, and it comes down on turn 4. Granted, turn 4 is a little bit late for 2 damage. A lot of times on turn 4, you're going to be finding your opponents are going to have minions with 3 or more health. So it could run into a little issues there, but don't worry. Demonic Studies has got you covered. The book with teeth from Harry Potter comes out, able to reduce the cost of this minion down to that 3, so you can get down a little bit earlier, even 2 if maybe you draw 2 of these, or you can even discover an additional one, because now all of a sudden the demon pool isn't complete garbage, and there are some demons you might want to, you know, actually play in your deck / discover from this thing. So powerful synergy there. And then, yeah, okay, this is not good. I had to put my boy Jumbo Imp in. He has not really seen any play. And like maybe, I don't know, maybe we can get enough demons and demon synergy stuff that Jumbo Imp gets his moment in the sun. I can feel that you're probably skeptical of it, but I'm pushing Jumbo Imp. Let's make Jumbo Imp happen, guys. Let's get some Jumbo Imp action. All right, next we have Zai the Incredible. Copy the left and rightmost cards in your hand, and it's a 5-mana 5/3, so it's actually reasonable stats for this. I kind of compare it to an Elise the Enlightened, which has a steep conditional in order to get its effect off. This is basically the same kind of thing. It does have a conditional still, it's just a hidden conditional. The conditional is you have to be ignoring your outcast mechanic while setting this up, right? Your leftmost and rightmost are completely blocked. So you're not going to be outcasting powerful cards while you're trying to set up for a Zai the Incredible. So it does still have some cost associated with it, much like Elise the Enlightened. I think the cost is less, which makes sense why it's a 3 health instead of a 5 health. But, yeah, I think it's probably going to be more impactful than Elise the Enlightened, which was a pretty cool card that opened up some combos. You have obvious synergy with burn damage. Any sort of burn damage, you know, it doesn't have to be Twin Slice. It could be whatever high-value burn or flexible burn that you can imagine so that you can accumulate a bunch of damage, copy it, and kill your opponent. It also has synergy with high-value cards like Skull of Gul'dan. If you're in a control matchup and you get an extra Skull of Gul'dan in your deck, you're going to have a good time against that control deck. They're not going to be able to control the amount of resources that you're going to be able to generate and just have flowing. So I think it's a very powerful card that has a lot of flexibility. You can use it in a bunch of different ways. If Demon Hunter is able to have the time to deploy this card, which I think it will because of the lifesteal weapons and things of that nature, it should be able to make very good use out of this card to be able to tailor its game plan towards whatever thing it happens to be facing on the ladder out there. I think it's a pretty solid card. Next up we have... Yep, the Redeemed. So this is a Paladin card, and for the rest of the game, after you summon a Silverhand Recruit, it gets Divine Shield. So we've had a few cards in this set that are already similar to that kind of effect and been pushing Dude Paladin. Dude Paladin seems like it's going to be pretty strong. It seems pretty pushed. You know, this legendary, very good, very stat efficient, and the one downside with it is it doesn't instantly give the ones on board Divine Shield. You have to play this and then summon new dudes. It doesn't help your dudes that are already there. It's kind of like a Justicar Trueheart because it's influencing your hero power a little bit. It's making your hero power make 1/1 Divine Shields. It is also making your cards that summon dudes be able to be a little bit stronger. So it's in a slightly different vein than just a card Trueheart, but you kind of get the idea here. It makes it so that your original mid-rangey plan can now go to a late-gamey plan. So it's got a little bit of likeness there. It's synergistic with all of the cards that summon Silverhand Recruits, obviously. So we look at Air Raid, which has gotten a ton of synergy this set, as well as the new card Day at the Fair, which is able to summon a bunch more Silverhand Recruits, now with Divine Shield thanks to this card. And then, of course, it has a little bit of anti-synergy with Balloon Merchant, but also synergy with Balloon Merchant. So there's a little bit of overlap there. Once you've played the Redeemed, you're no longer going to need to give your Silverhand Recruits Divine Shield. They're going to come with it. However, Balloon Merchant, you know, maybe they lose the Divine Shield, you give them back Divine Shield. Maybe you haven't drawn the Redeemed yet, so the Balloon Merchant is still pretty good. Maybe you just want the attack, so you play it for that. Nevertheless, it fits in the deck. You're going to be playing Balloon Merchant, the Redeemed Day at the Fair, and Air Raid all in the same sort of Silverhand Recruit Dude Paladin deck. I think that archetype still needs a little bit more, but I think Blizzard's gonna give it to us. I mean, they've already given us Day at the Fair, Balloon Merchant, the Redeemed. It's like, we need one more piece, and I think it all comes together. So I wouldn't be surprised if pretty soon they throw out the final piece here. And the final piece of the payoff would be some way to get more attack damage. +1 attack is not enough. We have the survivability on the dudes. We can make dudes stick. Now, how do we kill people with our dudes? Where's our Bloodlust? Where's our +2/+2 for every Silverhand Recruit you have? Something of that nature, just to close out the game once you've gotten all of these sticky dudes with balloons, would be perfect for this kind of thing and would make it into a real threat of a deck, potentially. Next up, we have Deck of Chaos. So this is another insane Warlock card. Swap the cost and attack of all minions in your deck. So this is going to be a negative for some cards in your deck and a positive for other cards in your deck. And it gives me, right off the bat, a Luna's Pocket Galaxy kind of feel. So Luna's Pocket Galaxy only affects the minions in your deck, much like Deck of Chaos only affects the minions in your deck, not in your hand, but allows you to do game-breaking, crazy combos that kind of win on the spot. And I'm afraid Deck of Chaos might be able to allow you to cheat enough mana to do that. You're going to have the 30 mana turns and things like that. So I'm a bit terrified that this card might be too good. It might be too good. It has some synergy with things like Abyssal Summoner, where you're able to then play Abyssal Summoner for 2 mana, which is pretty good because that's a heaping amount of stats. And then, of course, the synergy that a lot of people are talking about, the Malygos synergy. Being able to play in Malygos for 4 mana is quite good in a class that has spells that can go face. And then there's also Summoning Portal, which can be made to cost 0. So that's it's normally a 4 mana 0/4, make minions cost 2 less but no less than 1. So you could have Summoning Portal to then open up a world of even more combos and shenanigans. There should be a lot of crazy stuff that Deck of Chaos can do, I imagine, with the new Warlock AoE that helps you survive and get to this point. If Warlock just strings together a little bit of better healing, all of a sudden, we got a deck, man. We got some crazy, wacky combos coming out of Warlock. So they just need to live, and then they do everything. Pretty terrifying. Next, we have Malevolent Strike. So this destroys a minion, and it costs 1 less for each card in your deck that didn't start there. So it's sort of more like that shuffle kind of rogue, trying to shuffle things into your deck. It sort of reminds me of a Vendetta. Vendetta is a little bit easier to activate than this card, I'd say, because Vendetta just goes straight down to 0 when you play any of those burgle effects. But not too much worse than Vendetta, because it is going to be able to be a hard removal and just completely destroy a minion, which, you know, not too bad. And it gets reduced by 3 from Ticketmaster. And Ticketmaster is like a very reasonably statted card to play that you're already kind of like, I kind of want to put this card in my deck anyway. And now I have even more reason to do it. It should be able to discount this all the way down to 2 mana, and now it's just a crazy powerful card. It's like a much better sap, basically, and you can discount it further with other things. You're probably not going to play Waxadread in your deck, or what's the Soul of the Shadow, whatever that card's called. Those cards are pretty trash, but, you know, just throwing it out there. Maybe Waxadread gets to, you know, meme on and live his moment of glory for a little bit, but I doubt Waxadread's gonna get enough of a push to see any sort of real, you know, high legend play. But it's fun to think about. Next up, we have Rinling's Rifle. This is a crazy powerful hunter card. After your hero attacks, discover a secret and cast it. So you get the secret in play right away. You already get to discover 2 secrets and put them in play. They get to be secrets that aren't from your deck, which allows you to discover something that could be more useful for the specific matchup that you're in. Discovering secrets has traditionally been really powerful. This card reminds me of another card we revealed earlier on, or reviewed, not revealed, sorry. We reviewed earlier on in the set, the Ring Toss, which discovers a secret and casts it, and if it's corrupted, you get to discover 2. So it's basically the same kind of thing, except you get a 2/2 weapon to hit people with. So it's a little bit better, I'd say, than the Ring Toss, which makes sense, because it's a legendary card, and you can only have 1. And I thought the Ring Toss was really good, so this card is smacking it right out of the park. And if that wasn't good enough, if the card wasn't good enough on its own, it has some of the best synergies in the current set, I'd say. Looking at Petting Zoo, which is an absolute banger of a card. It summons a 3/3 and repeats for each secret. So if you have no secrets, it's a 3-mana 3/3. If you have 1 secret, it's a 3-mana 6/6. If you got 2 secrets, holy smokes, it's a 3-mana 9/9. So this card really goes pretty hard, and with the rifle, you can have the rifle equipped, swing the rifle, and then next turn, you know, let's say they popped your secret, whatever. Let's say they didn't pop your secret, fantastic, you get to swing again, and now all of a sudden you're playing a 3-mana 9/9 because you got 2 secrets up. So this card seems crazy. I am terrified of facing down this card on turn 4 because of the synergies that come out. It's so good you might even play Hyena Alpha, which is not a good card, but with this Ringling's Rifle and some of this other secret synergy, maybe it's good enough to make the cut. Tenwu of the Red Smoke. So this is a rogue card that kind of is like a Youthful Brewmaster, but it's a Youthful Brewmaster mixed with a Shadow Step, so it gets to reduce the cost of minions that you pick up with it. You can kind of use it as a heal. If you're able to value trade with anything, let's say you got a nice solid, I don't know, a 6/7. Let's go with the value ogre is in play. And the value ogre gets to run over a 5/5, and then you get to play Tenwu, pick up the ogre, play the ogre again for 1 mana. All of a sudden, your 6/7 ogre that just traded with a 5/5 is back to his pristine, full health beauty and able to do work. That's how I kind of see this card being used most often, but then it also has other synergies on top of that that you may want to try and find and look out for, such as picking up and playing a Kronks again. It's a very powerful battle cry. There's a couple other ones in Rogue too. You know, you look at the High Sparrow Dogwaggle, or maybe even Flick Sky Shiv can be picked up and played again. So there's all sorts of extra little value that this guy can get. And he's also just like a pretty good tempo card. Anytime you have a minion stick and you take value trades, he can, you know, be useful. So I think he's a solid card that has application above being just a solid card. So I think we'll see him get at least a little bit of play. Next we have Greybough, which was a really weird card. There's not too many cards in the game like this at all. It was very difficult to find a card to compare this with. There's like a few things that kind of do something similar, but not really. So if you have any suggestions of what a similar card to this is, I'm open to listening to it in the comments to try and get a more accurate review of it, but it's hard to say. So basically, this is a Druid card. It's a 5-mana 4/6 taunt, and it has Death Rattle. Give a friendly minion Death Rattle, summon Greybough. So it has a little bit of that infinite loop thing going on if they're not able to get a silence and shut it down. So it's a little bit... Well, it's not like that. That one was one of my worst ideas. It was like a little bit like Valinor, because you get that infinite value going on, but instead of giving you a weapon that you have to hit things with, it gives you a 4/6 taunt that can defend you. So instead of getting less life over time, you're going to be getting more life over time while going through, you know, the schedule of regrowing Greybough. So I think it's a very powerful card. It could be quite good. It might actually make Druid step away from their wild growth trends. This is a token Druid card. And the reason why I say this is a token Druid card is because you have to have something in play to give the friendly minion a death rattle to. So if you don't have a friendly minion out there to get this death rattle, then the death rattle is just going to go on nothing. It's just poof, wasted. So you need to have something in play alongside the tree, and then the tree gets cut down, and then the thing absorbs the power of the tree, and then when that thing dies, it grows a new tree. And then you need to put another thing down for that tree to transfer into. So you need minions, you need stuff in play. And typically, Druid's play pattern is wild growth, overgrowth, and then play one big thing way later on. And that's not going to work with this guy, at least not that well. So one of the synergies I see potentially happening is Terran Gorefiend. You can get lost in some death rattle loops and death rattle sequences with this guy, and have a lot more control over how you proc the Greybough. But it seems like you can do all sorts of wacky stuff with death rattle sequencing to try and make some crazy, very difficult to remove boards and then savage roar people with them, as well as a solid 4-drop. So this is a placeholder for a solid 4-drop. I've looked at some of the 4-drops in the game right now. There's not too many super sticky 4-drops in the Druid class in particular. So that's what would complement this guy the best. Something on 4 you can play, and then you play this guy on 5, and then they're like, oh no, there's no way for me to remove the 4-drop, so it looks like the guy's death rattle is going to proc unless I use some hard removal on this 4-drop, and then also kill a 4/6. So that's what I see synergizing best with this card, is not exactly Oasis Snapjaw, but sticky, hard to remove 4-drops that could then make use of this guy's death rattle transfer. Really cool card, and I think it might actually make Token Druid step into the light over some of the more traditional types of Druid a little bit more. Anyway guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Let me know in the comments which one of these cards is your favorite. Eventually, I want to go through all of the cards at some point and review every single one again, I guess, maybe. Maybe I won't review them all again. I want to do top 10 lists and top 5 lists, or give special awards for certain categories, like most creative card or card that had the best art this set. Things like that once all of them are out. So if you have anything in the comments to add about, like, wow, I think Greybough's got the coolest leaf beard in the whole set, or whatever, and then maybe later on I'll be like, coolest beard, and then I'll be like, I saw this comment from Cool Gamer Dude 69420 that said Greybough had the coolest beard, so let's make that a category and throw that in the video. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking is ways to do it, because I feel like if we just make a video that has every card and we reveal every card all at once and make like a 37-hour long video going over every single card, it's not going to land as well as something that's more condensed and consumable. You guys don't want to see every card, because half the cards are filler, right? You guys want to see the juice. You want to see the cool cards, or the cards with the coolest beards, or something at least kind of whimsical, right? I don't know, but let me know if I'm off base with that. I'm just trying to, you know, figure out what you guys want so I can give it to you. Thanks guys for tuning in. Till next time, we'll see ya, and we'll be here with more Darkmoon Faire card reveals, more Battlegrounds content, more Duels content, more standard content. All of the content. A few comments on the last video, they were like, N'Zoth Warrior looks sick, Menagerie Warrior looks so cool, but I don't know what I'm gonna play in the Dragon slot. I think I read 3 or 4 comments like that. And Blizzard has the answer for you today. This is what you're gonna run in the Dragon slot. This dragon gets cheaper as you control more unique friendly minion types.